Hi everyone, my name's Sam, my pronouns are they, them, and welcome back to my office. So today I'm going to do a long, for me, awaited for book haul. I went home to Connecticut, well, probably like a month or two ago now. Whenever I go home, I like to drag her to the book barn with me to do some well-needed book shopping. Now, if you've never been to the book barn, it is in Niantic, Connecticut. It now has 3 locations. It did previously have 4, but they condensed down a little bit. And it is a massive used bookstore that runs throughout the town of Niantic. It's a beautiful, beautiful, like, oceanside town. There's lots of shopping there, but I typically will do all 3 book barn locations. I'll start in the downtown location, and then I will go to my favorite candy shop, which I forget what it's called, but it's a very cute little yellow building right near the downtown book barn Niantic location. And then we will head over to the main barn, which is legitimately just a giant house and a bunch of little like sheds and barns throughout the property that have different kinds of books in them. And then I make my way to the 3rd location, which is one of my favorites. That one is indoors, completely indoors. It might be the smallest location of the 3. You can never really tell. It's very like twisty and maze-like. And they actually did pretty recently get a bookmobile. I don't think it's up and like traveling yet, but it is in that 3rd location. If you're interested in that. I will say I've met the owner. I interviewed the owner back in college. He's a wonderful, wonderful man. The book barn's been open since like the 80s. It's just a fun place to be. But if you use a mobility aid of any kind, I will say it's not very accessible. The shelves are very packed tight. The stairs, if there are any stairs, they're very like steep and very squished and thin. It's not an accessible place to be, truly. I would not say it's wheelchair accessible at all. And if you have like a cane or a walker, just beware, be cautious. That's really the only negative thing that I can say about the book barn. But it's been open since the 80s, and it's very rustic. They're all used books. So just want to say that now. But so I want to do a book haul of the things that I got at the book barn. I'll also insert a couple clips right here. Show you kind of what my experience was at the main barn this time. I didn't do a lot of filming. I probably started going when I was like 16, so it's been like 7 years now. And it's really, really started to pick up pretty significantly over the past like year. So it was really busy when I went, which made me really sad. I didn't think it was going to be that busy because it was like a Friday afternoon, kids were still in school. So I didn't get a lot of shots, but you can see the goats and one of the like hidden locations in the main barn. So I'll put those there. I'm also going to do a Barnes & Noble haul. Where I am up in Maine, I don't have a Barnes & Noble. I have a Books-A-Million, which I really like Books-A-Million, but I grew up on Barnes & Noble. So whenever I see one, I tend to go a little crazy because I just miss the vibes. So yeah, I guess let's get started. I guess we're going to start with my book barn haul. So the first book that I found was The X Hex by Erin Sterling. I only know that this got a lot of hype around the time that it came out with Book of the Month. I saw it, it was only a couple dollars, it was like $5. I was like, let me give it a try, even though it's a hardcover. It's a good deal, and it sounded like kind of like a cute rom-com-y kind of thing. So, the next book I got was Poison Princess by Kresley Cole. This book was recommended to me back when I was like 17 or 18 by one of my close friends. As far as I'm aware, this is kind of a YA that's like, I think it's tarot cards as people. I could totally be wrong. It's something along those lines. It's not normally what I would pick up, but I have been meaning to read this for like 6 or 7 years now, and I really trust her judgment on things. I'm definitely not into like YA dystopian at this point. I was never like super into it in the first place, but I'm kind of curious to give it a try and just see what happens. The next book I got was Down Among the Sticks and Bones by Seanan McGuire. This is, I think, the latest book in the series, and I found it hardcover for only $5, so I had to pick it up. I have not read the entire series yet. I've only read Every Hearted Doorway so far, and I was obsessed with it, and I want to keep going with the series, but I just don't want to pay full price for every one of the books, seeing as they're so short. So I've kind of been on the lookout for them used. I'm really excited for that, even though I still have to find like 4 other books before I get to read this one. But we'll get there eventually. The next one I got was just a copy of Dracula by Bram Stoker. I've never read Dracula before. I don't own a copy. I own like 3 or 4 copies of Frankenstein, but not Dracula. So I just kind of wanted to grab a copy. It was only like $1. You know, just to have it when I'm ready to read it. I was gonna read it for Summerween, and then I got bored with the audiobook. So we will try the physical book. I also got the 11th book in a series of unfortunate events, The Grim Grotto. So I own almost this entire series. I'm 2 books short. Well, now I'm only 1 book short. And they were hand-me-downs from my sister. So I'm just trying to kind of complete that. I've read, I think, like half of the series. I would like to read more of it because they're just fun to read through. But I want to grab that last book before I do, and it has to be in this edition. It doesn't matter if it's paperback or hardback, because I have a mixture of them, but they have to be in this edition so they match, which is a problem. So the next one I got is The World of Lore, Wicked Mortals by Aaron Mahnkey. So Lore was actually like the first podcast that I got really into, and I really, really loved it to the point where I also watched the Amazon series multiple times. So I saw this, it was only a couple dollars. I was like, whatever. I know that I've listened to almost all of the episodes at this point, but let's just consume some more, because Aaron Mahnke's voice is just very soothing, and I can't even tell you what the most of the episodes are actually about. I just listen to his voice half the time, and I love it. It's a good podcast. It's a good podcast if you want something that's a little spooky, a little relaxing, and, you know, it's kind of hard to find spooky that's not true crime-ish, and I don't do true crime. I don't do true crime now that Creepy Caffeine is not a podcast. So that's out. I just need to hold on to my spooky stuff. I also picked up The Ghost of Maine by T.M. Gray, and I was just curious to kind of learn a little bit about lore. But I just kind of wanted to know a little bit about the lore of Maine, and all that fun stuff. I lived in Connecticut for like 22 years, so I definitely know a bunch of Connecticut lore, and I don't know any of the Maine lore, so I was kind of curious, and it was only like $2. Then I got A Monster Calls by Partrick Ness. Partrick Ness is one of my all-time favorite authors. He wrote More Than This, which I have read like 3 or 4 times now, which is queer and amazing, and it's kind of sci-fi. It's about these kids who they die in some variety in this kind of virtual reality thing, and then they hit something just right in their head that instead of actually dying, they wake up in the real world. So he wrote that, which is More Than This, and then after I read More Than This, I read A Monster Calls, and I sobbed. I have no idea what this is about anymore. Not a single clue. I read this back in like my junior year of high school. And the only thing I can remember about it is sobbing hysterically in my school library. So I felt like it was necessary to collect all of the Partrick Ness books. And it was only a couple dollars, because this book's usually really, really expensive. So the next books that I got aren't like super exciting for anyone except for me. So I'm gonna do quick through them. I got The Pocket Muse, Endless Inspiration by Monica Wood. Just some writing prompts and ideas and fun stuff. I got A Year of Creative Writing Prompts. Does not say an author on it. I'm assuming there's just a bunch of different authors. So, more writing prompts. I like to use writing prompts just to kind of, as warm-ups most of the time, just to kind of shake out my wrists and get things going. I got the Creative Writing MFA Handbook. I've definitely been thinking about going back to school lately. So I'm just kind of trying to explore some of my options a little bit. And then I got the MLA Handbook for Writers of Research Papers. This one is definitely out of edition. It's not up to date in the slightest. This is from like 2009. But it's good to help for just basic things. You don't need MLA handbooks, AMA handbooks, Chicago handbooks, all of that fun stuff. You don't need them, because you can just look at Purdue OWL and it'll pretty much tell you everything. But I like to have them physically because it just makes my life a little bit easier. My Chicago Handbook of Style is the love of my life. It is everything to me. It was like a $90 book, and I bought it new because I couldn't find it used, and it's the best purchase I've ever made as an English major. So that is it for my book barn haul. Oh god. And let's kind of move on to my Barnes & Noble haul. This one's gonna be much quicker, but okay. So I loved these. I bought them all. So I read the first book as an ebook from my library, and I fell in love with it. So I bought the other 2 books in the series, and I read them immediately as I got home. They were a small addiction for like 2 weeks, maybe. That is Neon Gods, Electric Idol, and Wicked Beauty by Katie Robert. So this is all like Greek mythology kind of retellings. The first one was Persephone and Hades. Electric Idol was Psyche. I think it's Psyche. It might be, I don't know. Don't quote me on how to say anything. And Eros. And then Wicked Beauty, Achilles, Patroclus, and Helen, Chaosis. And I loved these so much. Surprisingly, Electric Idol was my favorite. Neon Gods, this one was close second. But I thought I was going to love this one even more because it was Persephone's and Hades. But Electric Idol, that was really my vibe. That one was kind of it for me. And look, I was not a Greek mythology middle schooler in any capacity. I've never read the Percy Jackson series. It's just not my vibe. But these were my vibe. So I also bought, this one was absolutely entirely a cover buy. I bought The Library of the Dead by T.L. Huchu. But this is, here, I'll read you the synopsis real quick. It's, Ropa dropped out of school to become a ghost talker, and she now speaks to Edinburgh's dead, carrying messages to those they left behind. A girl's gotta earn a living, and it seems harmless enough. Until, that is, the dead begin to whisper that someone's bewitching children, leaving them husks, empty of joy in life. It's in Roba City, so she feels honor-bound to investigate, but what she learns will change her world. She'll dice with death, not part of her life plan, discovering an occult library and a taste for hidden magic. She'll also experience dark times, for Edinburgh hides a wealth of secrets, and Ropa's gonna hunt them all down. Can we just look at this cover and how stunning this is? This is everything. This was like a $30 book, but it's beautiful, and it sounds so interesting. It sounds like kind of like a more adult version of City of Ghosts by V.E. Schwab, and I loved that. So we've got a more adult one, which hopefully will be a little bit spookier, a little bit more exciting. So I'm hoping that one will be even better. Okay, and then finally I got two more books. I got Adulthood Rights by Octavia Butler. I read Kindred by Octavia Butler in college, and I really, really loved it. So I kind of wanted to start with some of her other series. She is an incredible Black author. I read Kindred in my narratology class to kind of focus in on how beautiful her narratives are and how intricate they all kind of come together, and how she plays with timelines. I'm really excited to get started with more of her work because it's just stunning. It's incredible. So I need more. And then finally, I picked up a copy of a book that I already read, also for school, also in my narratology class. I read Girl, Woman, Other by Bernadine Evaristo. This book was amazing. I read it as an ebook from my library for when I read it in school because I wasn't sure how I was going to feel about it, and I didn't want to just go out and buy it. And then I completely fell in love with it. So it's about Black British families, their struggles. Girl, Woman, Other is populated with unforgettable characters, from a lesbian playwright to a jaded schoolteacher to a non-binary social media influencer. Sparklingly witty, centering voices we often see othered and written in an innovative, fast-moving form, this is a polyphonic social novel by a masterful writer who has finally been lauded at the level she has long deserved. I remember it being stunning. I remember crying over it, and it just really hit me, like right in the chest. So I wanted to pick up a physical copy of it, not only to support the author, but also to read it again. And I want to tab it and kind of work through it at a slower pace than I had to in college. Because I had to be a little quick with this in college, and I don't want to be. I want to take my time with it and dissect how beautiful it actually is. So, these are my Barnes & Noble ones. Let's see if I can get all of these to be together. I feel like if I try really hard, I probably could. I have a feeling that this is going to be a very poor idea, but we're going to do it anyway. Oh god, okay. Okay, so this has been my Connecticut Book Barn and Barnes & Noble haul. I say as I'm literally going back to Connecticut next week. I'll probably get more, but I'm not going to be as outrageous, I promise. So this has been so fun. Since I've gotten these books, I've read some of them, so I'm going to take that as a win. And this has been so incredibly fun. I'm so glad I got to walk through these with you, and just kind of remind myself of what I bought, because it's been sitting in a box waiting for me to do this for 2 months. I hope everyone is having a really great day, and I will see everyone in my next video. Bye!